Hi, alternates. It's day 5 of Florida versus Donna Adelson. Agent Sanford was back on the stand, and y'all, I wanted to rip my eyes out today. I'm not kidding. Basically, the entire day was presenting audio recordings from the wiretaps, which I believe is the same as yesterday. And because the sound is so terrible, I had to pause literally every 3 seconds and read the transcripts that were presented in court. And now I just want to sit here and cry, but I won't. Instead, I will tell you everything that I learned. And the prosecution started with a call between Donna and Charlie. During the call, Donna and Charlie are talking about Wendy and her employment, and they're talking about getting her a job and how she has to use her skills. I mean, I guess Wendy may have been dating some guy, and they're talking about that too. And then Charlie says, quote, Wendy just doesn't comprehend how lucky she is, end quote. But at least, apparently, she doesn't see herself as a victim anymore. Which, what does that even mean? After this conversation, Charlie went and met with Catherine. This was just prior to the bump that happened in April of 2016. Mind you, now it's about almost 2 years, a little bit shy of 2 years since the murder. After the bump, Charlie and Katie met at Dolce Vita. Now, you may have heard about this earlier in the opening statements, I believe. That audio and video were played in court, but honestly, it is so hard to understand. And listen, this wiretap is so crucial to this case. It's really what broke this case wide open. I'm going to read you different snippets from the transcript because a lot of it is like not audible. So there's a lot of the transcript that is just like blah, 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 blank. And so I'm going to read you the gist of it. Some of it will be direct quotes. Some of it will just be my synopsis of it. And let me just say, Charlie is a talker. He does not shut up. He has a diarrhea of the mouth. So he's the one that does most of the talking. Katie McBanua hardly says a word. And everything she says is almost inaudible. Charlie begins, if they had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. The problem is, even if they buy this, even if they bug your home phone, nobody is going ... Even if they bug your phone, you're still not talking about any of this. So my point is, how do you get people to talk? You throw smoke grenades and then you get all the cockroaches to run out. There's smoke in the house. There's smoke in the house. And everyone's running and everyone's talking as you throw smoke grenades. What do you think? Listen, if that's what it was, it's very smart because that means my mom hasn't told my dad anything. My mom knows my dad is going to flip out when he finds out, but my mom hasn't told my dad anything. But normally, if that was a cop that came and spoke to my mom that night, when he comes home from work, she would say, guess who paid me a visit when I went to pick up my grandkids today? After she dropped them off, she was walking home. But yeah, Charlie then implies that they, meaning whoever, did this, whoever bumped into his mom, had been watching her because she usually drives to pick up the grandkids or to drop them off. But on the particular day of the bump, she just so happened to have walked. Charlie also implies that they probably approached mom and not the dad because the dad carries a gun. Then Charlie says he carries a gun often and he's going to start concealed carrying. And then he says, listen, if someone comes up to me at my house asking for money, they better come packing because I'm going to start shooting. And then privileged little pretty boy Charlie Adelson says, guess what? If I get into a shootout, when the cops roll up, they're going to see me, an oral surgeon, and a dead gang member. And you know what? They're not going to ask many questions. Charlie then says, I know that they're going to come back. So we have two options. And he never really gets into the two options. He continues to say, these are the two options, but then he never gets into them. It's just rant after rant after rant. He says, if a cop comes up to him, he's not talking. If they want to charge me, charge me. Then he goes into a soliloquy and says, even if I go in and say, even if he goes into the cops and says, my brother did it without proof, it means nothing. Charlie thinks he's an attorney and he's over here giving like legal advice. He's like giving different scenarios. Like he's like a law professor here during this Dolce Vita meeting, right? He talks about two people being in a car. One gets out and commits a crime. Yeah, the other person was in the car, but they might not have been involved in the crime and there is not enough evidence. Then he says, quote, my mom could have sat in the car too. It's not a crime. They have to put you at the scene at the date, end quote. Yikes. Alternates, side note, Charlie Adelson should really stick to medicine because he's clearly never heard of conspiracy or solicitation because, yeah, you really don't have to be there. All right, back to the transcript. Charlie says they say it's a guy. So he's talking about the bump right now. He's relaying messages or he's relaying what the person who did the bump to his mom is saying. And Charlie tells Katie, hey, they say that a guy named Tuto or Tato or whatever, I don't even know who that is what Charlie says. Then he goes into what the person told his mom. This guy Tuto's incarcerated. We know that you've been helping Katie and her family, and Tuto's family needs help too. When Donna relayed the message to Charlie, she told him that the man who gave her the note was well-spoken, polite, not Latino. He didn't have even a Spanish accent and didn't act like a thug. She couldn't tell if the man was white or Latino. He didn't wear glasses, and to her, it appeared that he was pretty well dressed. Then he says, Mom, it's Miami. Everyone's Latino, like Maria from West Side Story. Now, pause, side note. Tabitha and I were on the phone earlier this morning, and her and I were actually talking about the bump. And she literally said that the undercover agent was a way to polite and educated. And that's what we're going to get into today, because that's how they got made. All right. So Donna did tell Charlie that when she first bumped into the guy, she said, excuse me. And then the guy said, Miss Adelson? Immediately, Donna thought that she was about to get served with court paperwork. Like, she was thinking, is this a court, like a processing server, or what is going on? Charlie, during his rant to Katie, then starts talking about the internet. He's like, listen, we don't know who it is. We don't know who did this. But with the internet, you can get anyone's contact information for $20. He's thinking maybe somebody saw my family's name in the newspaper and they looked up my mom's name and whatever. That's what he keeps saying. He brings this up again later, so just put a pin in that. Charlie then says, quote, they didn't mention my name, which makes me think that that these people only know part of the story, or they think they know part of the story, end quote. Much of the next part was unintelligible. Like you really could not even begin to figure out what the heck he was saying. But then Charlie starts saying, go tell the cops. They are going to ask for the murder weapon. I don't know. Who pulled the trigger? I don't know. Were you there? No. Rumors, according to Charlie, are worth zero. So you get the person to wear a wire, but if they don't confess, you got nothing. I mean, this is Charlie literally talking to Katie. And his friend testified on day 3 that Charlie can just talk until he convinces himself and other people that, okay, Charlie, whatever you say, we're going to agree to because you won't shut the hell up. Charlie then goes into, quote, you have a car and you link this person to renting that car that's used at the scene of the crime, okay? But you have to also prove they were also driving that day too. You could have lent the rental car to a friend, end quote. Squirrel, he says. He doesn't say squirrel, but this is a different topic. Squirrel, quote, I wish it was a cop playing games, end quote. All right. What the heck is this guy talking about? Quote, like, go talk to the person who's involved, not people who aren't involved. And I'm not involved. But if they knew your relationship with me, not my family, like I dated you, not my mom, this person obviously doesn't even know that we dated. They need to talk to someone who knew what the F went on, end quote. What he's trying to say here is he thinks, or he's shocked that they approached his mom, mentioned Katie, mentioned Tato or Tuto, whatever, but didn't mention Charlie. He's like, what the heck? Like, did they not know that you were my ex-girlfriend, or that you were my girlfriend and are now my ex-girlfriend? Charlie then says, yeah, you work at the practice, but come in on weekends, which is why I never see you there, and I hope you really are coming in on weekends to work. So Charlie has completely lost his mind during this conversation. He is like, he thinks like it might be recorded, but he's not sure. So he just starts dropping things. Like he's telling her, yeah, you work at the firm. Oh, not the firm, but you work at the institute, which is why we pay you. And he's like trying to convince himself, like, well, I hope you really are showing up on weekends. Cause I mean, the place looks clean when I come in on Monday and you come in on the weekend to clean the place, which by the way, she never worked there. Charlie implies that he wants to pay this person off, but he doesn't want them to continue to come back week after week asking for more money. Charlie opines that dealing with the cops would be much easier than dealing with a blackmailer. But then he gets into lie detectors. Because mind you, I might sound erratic, but I am literally repeating what this guy is saying or, giving you a summary of it. He starts talking about lie detector tests and he's like, listen, I'm not taking a lie detector test. My parents aren't taking a lie detector test not because we're lying, but because false positives are like such a big thing. And also, if you say you're not taking the lie detector test, it makes you look guilty. Then he says, if you go to the cops, the FBI is involved and they are not rookies. This case, he never mentions Dan Markel, by the way, but he just says, this case is big news, not just like local Tallahassee news, not even local Miami news, not just even US news. It was on BBC News. He says he has family in London who called when they heard the news. So in the end, you didn't do anything and I didn't do anything and nobody did anything, he says. But wait, Charlie has a case of diarrhea of the mouth and he just goes on and on and on and on and on. He starts talking about his cell phone and how he's not letting the cops look at his phone if they come asking for it. Not because there's any evidence of a crime, but because he has hundreds of dick pictures and nude pictures of himself. And no, they can't have the phone. So weird. Then he loops back. If it was the cops, good. I have nothing to hide. I hope it's the cops. If it's the bad guys, then yeah, we go to the police. They take him down and this person gets 10 years for extortion. But the alternative is that the guy knows something. Not only is he trying to blackmail him, not only is he some homeless guy who paid $20 online to, try to blackmail the Adelsons, but what if this guy does know something and he starts singing and he starts naming Katie McBanua? Charlie thinks. He says, I want to give the guy money. They're asking for 10 grand. He thinks he might give the money to Katie. He doesn't say how much, but he might give the money to Katie. She will call the number that the undercover agent gave Donna, and Katie will say, someone said you reached out to them and that you mentioned me by name. They have nothing to do with this. I don't even know what you're talking about myself. But the name that you talked about, like this guy who's in jail, he sounds what I'm going to do, Katie, I'm going to pay you as charity to help the less fortunate. But be warned, do not contact these people again or they will go to the police. He also says, tell them you bent over backwards for these people not to go to the police before you give them the money. Charlie then, he doesn't want people to mess with his family because they will find out who the hell he is. And Charlie does have crazy eyes, just FYI. Then it seems like they start talking about Sigfredo, but Sigfredo is never actually named. And Charlie, starts feeling bad that he was hooking up with Katie when she was still seeing the baby daddy at some point. And he's just like, oh, I just feel so bad that you guys ended up getting back together and that I kept seeing you. The entire thing is weird. But Charlie acknowledges that he likes to help Katie and that he'll go to the moon and back to help her wherever he can. He then says that after the incident, mom, meaning the bump, his mom hasn't been able to sleep and she has diarrhea. Not diarrhea of the mouth like he does. She has, like, no kidding, diarrhea. Agent Sanford then explains that at the time that this video was recorded, the rental vehicle information, because remember, now we know that there was actually a car rented that was the murder vehicle. Well, that information wasn't public knowledge. So the fact that Charlie even mentioned a rental vehicle during this conversation that he didn't know was being recorded was weird. Then there was another recorded call, and it's the call that Charlie makes right after Dolce Vita when he calls his mama, Donna Adelson. He tells his mom that he met with a friend for coffee and that they were just talking about relationship type stuff, like not about the relationship with each other, but relationship issues. He says, I gave her great advice and she's sleeping on it. By the way, they always speak in code, so you will never know what the hell they're talking about. Apparently, during this call, this has nothing to do with the trial, but June, remember his ex-girlfriend who testified on day 3, she, at the time, was trying out for the Dolphin cheerleading squad. Hooray. I don't think she made it. But anyway, or she didn't make it because she got cut right before they picked the team. During this phone call, Charlie then circles back to the coffee with a friend. And he says, listen, this can go one of two ways. Donna, by the way, is clearly busy because you can hear the kids in the background. And in a lot of her phone calls, you can tell that she is with Wendy's kids. He then tells his mom, listen, whatever it is, because he always talks about the two ways it could go. And then he never lists them out. He's just like, oh, there's two ways this can go. Squirrel. He then tells his mom not to worry about it, and he tells her this multiple times. On April 21st, 2016, in the morning, Katie and Sigfredo have a call, and it just sounds like a couple that's arguing. I mean, they are just brutal to each other. But then Katie says that she feels left out in the dark, and he says the less she knows, the better. Then he says, I'm not making the phone call. But then he changes his mind. He's like, okay, fine, I will call. The call ends abruptly and they are still arguing. But minutes later, I mean, talk about toxic relationship. There is another call, something about paying for one of the kids' items. And the amount is $60.57 or $65.57 or 75 cents and some change. The phone call is very vague. It's very quick, but clearly they are talking in code. And we will figure out what these numbers mean later. Charlie then talks to Katie at 9 a.m. and they begin to talk code again. But this time they're talking about properties and good investments and bad investments and the amount being incorrect. Katie says that she's going to do a background check. She also said that she made a few phone calls. After this, Charlie and Donna get back on the phone. By the way, listening to this trial is awful because it's like playing telephone with a bunch of criminals. I mean, listen, Donna is innocent until proven guilty, but Charlie is a convicted felon, and so is Katie, and so is Sigfredo. So I said what I said. And listen, playing telephone sucks. At 4 p.m., there is a surveillance video taken, and you can see Charlie and his dad. They're at a restaurant. It's called like the restaurant meeting, but we can't hear anything, and we never get clear direction about what the heck is being said. We just know that there is a restaurant meeting between Charlie and his dad. Then the prosecution introduces the bump letter. By the way, I researched this case before, and I don't think I've ever heard of the bump letter. But it's a letter to the Adelsons from the undercover agent sent to a condo.
Can you read what the letter said?
Yes. It says, my phone is not ringing, so you don't care about Tato and what he did for you. He knows he is fucked, and soon so will you.
That's an interesting letter. So fast forward April 25th, and there is a call from Charlie to Katie. And Charlie wants Katie to meet him at the Icon. That's where the Adelsons received the letter. Charlie and Katie meet up, and then Charlie calls his mom, and he goes to meet his mom. There is a text exchange between Katie and Sigfredo where he's basically like, listen, you and your homie need to figure out your own crap. Keep me out of it. There are several calls where Donna is worried and Charlie tells her over and over again, Mom, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. Then Charlie finally says, quote, if somebody was going to do something, nobody would show their face. Nobody would give a cell phone number. Nobody would write something and put it in the mail, end quote. 15 minutes after this call, Charlie and Katie get back on the line. Katie says she called the number and they're wrong, meaning the number is wrong. Charlie tells her he has the number at home and he will get it to her later. By the way, the number is never really wrong. Everyone's just a freaking liar and no one's actually calling the number, but more on that later. Charlie calls his mom and he's like, Mom, can I have the phone number? Mom is like, I have it at home. Then there's a call from Katie to Sigfredo, and she gives a phone number, and the last four numbers of that phone number, which is the undercover agent, are 6570, which coincides with that amount that I mentioned earlier. Remember when I mentioned them buying something for one of the kids, but the price was either Was it 6057 or 6570? Yeah, it sounds like she may have mixed up the last 4 digits of the phone number. Eventually, Charlie calls his mom and tells her that they called the number several times and no one answered. Maybe it was a throwaway phone, he said. Again, he said, "Mom," this is the theme, "don't worry about it." On the stand, Agent Sanford testifies that even though everyone is saying they called the number, no one actually called the number. They are a bunch of little chickens. On November 28th in the morning, there is a bump call to the Adelson Institute. Again, I don't think I knew about this. The secretary picks up the phone, she takes a message, and the message is for Donna Adelson. The undercover agent says, "Well, I'll leave a message. This is my number. She has the paperwork. I gave it to her last week. It's very important." 20 minutes later, there is a call between Donna and Charlie. Are you getting sick of this telephone game? Anyway, Donna relays to Charlie that the secretary called her and informed her about the message. Charlie confirms the number was exactly the same. So yeah, it's the guy. He then reiterates, "We called, Mom, and no one picked up." He then told her he'd make a few calls. And again, say it with me, "Mom, don't worry about it." Charlie then calls Katie several times and he leaves a message and he still calls again. She eventually calls him back. It's a 7-minute call and he relays what happened that morning and when somebody called the Adelson Institute, and Katie starts to get real annoyed. I mean, she is like over the top annoyed. I don't know if her kids pissed her off that day, but she is like F-bombing this, F-bombing that. Like at this point, she's going to go to the cops. And she's like, "Listen, Charlie, we called the number. It doesn't work. It's a Gmail number or a Google number. And are you messing with me?" She says. She then says, "I'm going to call the number from my phone." Katie gets real heated, like, crazy. And Charlie tries to talk her off the ledge. He says, "Find out who it is, or my next call is to the FBI," or something to that effect. He then says, "Then if I do call the FBI will start asking questions." Unsure by his tone if he's like, "Girl, you need to calm the heck down," or if he's just kind of like, "Please do not go crazy right now." By the way, my eyes were no kidding. It felt like they were bleeding right as the case or the trial broke for lunch. And I must not have been the only one who felt that way, like bloody eyes, because right after lunch, the judge, who is a little bit comical, asks the jury if they all had a cup of coffee because he wanted everyone to be really attentive because evidence is really important. Yikes! Those poor jurors. All right, let's get into it. Also, I really should have switched trial coverage days with tabs because this really is not for the birds. Let's continue. We're back to the day of the bump phone call. Charlie to the Adelson Institute. Charlie asks Donna to get the caller ID information from the office. He wants to confirm that the number came from that number. During a phone call between Charlie and Katie, again, I mean, she is still flipping out. And then she says, "For all you know, somebody's already listening to everything." I cleansed that statement a little bit because there were so many F-bombs dropped. But yikes, bingo, 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 bingo. She was right. Yet, guess what she does? She keeps talking. Charlie, the whack job, I can say that because he's a convicted felon. He then calls his mom and is like, "Mom, I'm going to call the number, but first I'm going to star 69 it so that they can't see my number." Because you know what I think? I think it's a PI digging for information. I mean, Mom, what's the explanation? It's either that or it's the FBI on a fishing expedition. Charlie then reiterates, we had nothing to do with this. And if I did know anything, I'd go collect the money myself right now. Presumably, he's talking about the reward money offered for Dan Markel's unsolved case. Charlie then speculates that it could be literally a PI, it could be the FBI, or it could be Joe Schmo, homeless guy with a cell phone just messing with us. And then guess what? Charlie flipping Adelson calls the number himself. Y'all, is this like a soap opera or what? I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat. At first, my eyes were bleeding, but now I am locked in. By the way, it's now April 28th, 2016, so approximately 2 weeks since the bump in the street with the note. Here is that phone call. It is going to be a little bit hard to understand. I will circle back and give you the highlights, but I want you to hear it for yourself.
Hello? Hola, diga. Hello? Diga. Who is this? Who's this? Someone's been calling my family and trying to figure out who this is. In reference to what, ma'am? Someone by the name of Sandy called? Yeah, that's me, ma'am. Alright, what's going on? Well, what's going on, my brother Tato. Okay, my brother Tato has not been taken care of. His family's not been taken care of. I talked to thankless Tato. Why are you calling me? Who are you? I gave your number to a lady. I don't know Tato. You don't know Tato? I'm not really know Katie and Tuca. They've been taken care of since the family's problem was taken care of up north. I don't know how are. You don't? Well, I'm going away, my friend. Because let me tell you something. I was at Broward with Tato, and he told me the whole story. He told me nobody was taking care of him, nobody was taking care of his family. The family was taking care of Katie and Tuca, and nothing's been taken care of with Tato. So we know what's going on. And Tato needs to be taken care of, to do the right thing. The lady already has the paperwork, she knows what I'm talking about. We know Katie, we know Tuca, we know they've been taken care of. Let me look at it. No more fucking around, man. No more fucking around. This ain't going away. You guys need to do the right thing for Tato. That's my brother, man. That's my brother, and he needs to be taken care of. His family needs to be taken care of, just like Katie and Tuca have been taken care of. I've never met these people, but let me call you back, okay? That's bullshit, man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know this lady. I don't know your relationship with this lady, but we know what the fuck is going on. Just take on that way. Take care of Tato just like you take care of Katie and Tuca, man.
Alternates, did you catch that? The person who answered the phone actually answered in Spanish. Y'all, this had me in stitches because remember, they were listening in on Charlie and Donna's calls and they knew that Charlie was suspect. Like, if it's not a person who's Latino, like it must be a cop. Anyhow, Charlie is real quiet during the call and he's real suspicious. But the man says, listen, Tato told me everything when we were in Broward. Broward, by the way, is a jail or a prison or whatever. And no one is taking care of him. Tuto and Katie are taken care of since the family problem was taken care of up north. But what about Tato? Do the right thing, man. Do the right thing. The lady has the paperwork. Charlie's response, let me look into it. The first person that Charlie calls after this, no, it's not his mom. It's Katie. And remember, on day 3, when I was telling you about Tuto and Tato, and I was like, this is so confusing. Well, during this call, Charlie says the man on the line was talking about Tuco, or whatever the F his name is. He literally said that, which is really funny, right? Tuto, Tato, Tuco, like he don't know what the hell is going on. Charlie then said at first he didn't sound like a tough guy, talking about the guy on the phone. But then the guy got tougher and tougher, like a New Yorker, and he definitely didn't sound Latino. After reiterating the conversation to Katie, Charlie again is like, maybe this is a homeless guy who paid $19 online to get our contact information. But he tells Katie, I want you to call the number and find out. Charlie then says he wants to collect the reward money and use it for a vacation, meaning that he's going to go to the cops, give information, collect the reward money for Dan Markel's murder, and he's going to go on vacation. Katie, after this is all like really consecutive calls. That's why I'm not giving you dates or times because it's like just boom, boom, boom. Katie then calls Sigfredo, a.k.a. Tuto, a.k.a. her baby daddy, and relays what happened. Then she says it's getting too detailed, insinuating that this person who's on the line or who Charlie spoke to actually knows something. Sigfredo, who we now know was the gunman, he tells Katie, well, why didn't Charlie, he doesn't say Charlie, but he says, why didn't the guy threaten to call the cops? Y'all, these freaking people, no kidding, killed the man, and they're wondering like, well, why don't we just call the cops? Katie then told Sigfredo to call the number. 20 minutes later, they talk again, and Sigfredo is spooked. He says he's not going to call from his phone. He's actually going to get rid of his phone. Katie says, listen, don't get rid of your phone. Just call from a friend's phone. Later, Sigfredo told Katie that he called and got an answering machine, and it was filled with cuss words and I'm busy, call back. Katie relayed this odd message to Charlie. But Sigfredo lied, and he told Katie that he had called 3 times, but the agent on the stand at trial noted that Sigfredo had actually not called. Which is interesting, right? He's a shooter. He's all big and tough, but he won't call the number. Charlie and Donna get on the phone, and Charlie tells her that he doesn't want to talk on the phone. Which I'm like, okay, all right, maybe he's getting smart, but the conversation keeps going. And eventually he starts talking about people barking up the wrong tree. And then he says, I don't think they want money. What do you think they want? They want people to start talking. And guess what? Charlie can talk. Talk. This guy can talk. There is a short break in the trial, and the judge gives a little pep talk when the jury comes back. The prosecutor giggles and says, quote, torture will continue until morale improves, end quote. And y'all, this had me, this is a very entertaining bunch because they get it. Like, this is really boring stuff. So we pick up after this small break on April 29th, Katie and Charlie, and which is interesting, right? Because April 28th, everyone is freaking out. There's phone calls going back and forth. And then on April 29th, the tone has completely changed. It went from frantic, and now it's kind of like laid back and happy. Charlie says something about having a birthday gift for Sigfredo Garcia. I don't even think he really says Sigfredo, but that's what he's implying. And even says something about buying a Range Rover for Katie. Very weird. Let's fast forward to May 4th, 2016, and there is another bump. Yeah, there's a lot of bumps in this case. It's a text message from the undercover agent to Donna.
A text message was sent from the undercover to Mrs. Adelson's cell phone at early in the morning, late at night, 2:09 a.m.
What's the content of the message that was sent?
So the text read, so you don't take me serious, you think I'm playing, you have some puta call me to see if I'm for real. If you think what Katie, baby daddy did for you can't come back, you're fucking crazy. I want there's actually I believe a $sign there. Now, or I'm going after the 100K, exclamation point.
7 hours after Donna receives this text message, there is a call between Katie and Charlie, and he tells her that he put something in her trunk, but she hasn't opened it yet. He says it's a birthday present for somebody. It's a very nice gift card. Charlie then tells her that if she thinks it's okay, she can tell him, meaning Sigfredo, that it's from Charlie. There is information that Charlie got concert tickets for Katie, and there's also mention that he's the godfather of Katie's daughter. At some point, Charlie meets with his parents. Okay, so by the way, there is a bump text message at 2 o'clock in the morning, and there is never a phone conversation between. You would think that Donna would wake up in the morning and call Charlie, but she doesn't. Instead, there is some sort of meeting arranged somewhere else. So Charlie meets with his parents. Surveillance was following them, but they couldn't get close enough to capture what was said. After the meeting, Charlie calls Katie, and it's clear that at that meeting with his parents or with his mom, I'm so confused about Harvey's involvement, but at that meeting, he learned about the May 4th bump text message to his mom. Katie then hangs up with him. She calls Sigfredo to tell him about the 2 a.m. text message. And then, y'all will not believe this, in a shocking twist, Donna Adelson calls the undercover number herself. She does download some software, and she does record the call on her own because she wants to record it, and then she's later going to share it with Charlie. This is that call.
Hello?
This is Mrs. Adelson. Adelson. Is this, Sammy? Okay, my grandchildren had my phone before, so,
Senora Adelson?
I'm Mrs. Adelson.
Yes.
My grandchildren had my phone before, so that's, and I just saw that you called.
Oh, okay. You left a message on my voicemail.
Right, I did.
Yes.
This is my problem. You approached me on Alton Road. You handed me an article from the newspaper about my ex-son-in-law. You told me I need to call you and help your friend who is in prison. Now, at the time you did that, I didn't understand what you were talking about. I didn't call you back. Then you mail me a threatening letter. Then you send me a text message to my phone that says I'm not taking you seriously. So I am taking you seriously. And I really want you to listen to me.
I'm listening.
I have to tell you, I mean, this is important. I have been so stressed out. I have spoken to 10 or 12 people who are close friends of mine, telling them about this and basically picking their brains and asking them what I should do, because I don't know your friend who is in jail. You mentioned a name. I don't even know his name. I never spoke to him. I don't know what he looks like. I've never met him. I'm sorry your friend's in jail, but I don't know what that has to do with me.
You know exactly what it has to do with. You know exactly what. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. You just got to listen to me.
You need to ask your friend who this person looks like, what their name is, something, because I know there's a big reward out there, and if you need money for your friends, that's the way to get it. I mean, I'm asking you nicely. I don't know who he is. I am out of the loop. It is not me. If I can help, I would help. I mean, that's what. Just
like I told you. Listen to me. Just like I told you that day. We know that your family had a problem up north. We know that problem was taken care of about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we know that Katie has been taken care of. And has been taken care of. Now my brother in jail, we were in Broward together. He told me the whole thing, and he hasn't been taken care of. You know. Now, all that's being asked for is $5K. That's all we're asking for is for $5K. And he told me everything, and I know everything. I know who's involved. I know everything, and I'll get the $100K for myself.
You know,
all I ask is to send the $5K. Everybody knows what's going on.
I don't, you're saying everyone knows. I know I lost my ex-son-in-law. I did not have anything to do with it. That's why I said, ask him what. That's what my brother Sato told me. He told me everything when we were in jail. He told me everything, and who was involved. I know everything. Well, I don't. That's the problem. I am telling you, it's not me. It's not me. I have had a year of aggravation, a year and a half of aggravation over this. My daughter, my grandchildren. It is not me. And when I asked my friends, what do they think? They said, well, this person needs to get a description of you because of what you look like, or it's not me. I don't know who caused this. It wasn't me. I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you, just like that day when I talked to you, this is not going away. This is not going to go away because Sato told me everything. He wasn't being taken care of. He needed the $5K. Send $5K. That's all we were asking for. Don't do that.
I don't know who Sato is. You don't understand.
We know you don't know who Sato is, but you know who Katie is. and you know the contacts Katie has, and she has, listen to me, let's stop fucking around. Let's stop fucking around. Okay? You know who Katie is. And you know that Katie has somebody that knows Tato. And they took care of a problem for you people. That's just the bottom line. The bottom line is you know who the fuck Katie is.
Look, I don't.
I'm no more than Mr. No, I'm not fucking around with it. You know who Katie is. You know that they took care of Katie and her people. Nobody's taking care of Tato. I know you don't know who Tato is.
No,
But we know who all of you are. And this ain't going away.
you know what?
So I can give you then the 5K?
Here's what you need to do. You need to go and.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do and I'm doing it.
You're looking for money. Get $100,000 or whatever what do you call it? Whatever the reward is. It isn't me. You have got the wrong person. That's why I said ask your friends.
You're Donna Adelson.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Well, I know. We know who's involved in all this.
This is not making any sense. I mean, if you want the money, you should get it from the police. They can give you a whole lot more than you're asking me for money for someone. I can't do this. I have had too much stress and too much aggravation from this, and I don't know what you are talking about. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Good. I think you should talk to Katie. Talk to people that are involved in this. You'll know. You know what's going on.
I do not. That's why I'm.
You can tell me. Adelson, you can tell me all you fucking want, but I know you know. Because I heard when I was locked up in Broward with my brother, he told me everything. Everything. He told me everything.
Well, then
I just wanted to take care of him because fucking Katie was being taken care of with her fucking puto.
I just think instead of asking me, you should get the money from the police. There's a lot of money out there, and I know if you think you know who this is, then go ahead and do it, because I know it isn't me. I know it isn't me. And I can't take this kind of level of stress. I just can't. I know I didn't do anything.
To talk to people, you talk to the right people, you talk to people, you make this 5K come to me. That's all I need. Just do it and get it to me. Do it and get it to me.
I'll call you back.
Okay, so what is it about that call that makes them believe it's the police? I mean, I seriously don't know, but maybe it's because the person is so nice. Well, Donna then calls Charlie and she speaks in code. She infers that she has the program and that she can show him later. Charlie then calls Katie the next day and tells her that he has a new CD and he wants her to listen to it. He told her he listened to it himself and it's a pot-bellied pig. You get it? After this call is published, the prosecutor establishes with the agent that after Donna called the number, the Adelsons, both Donna and Charlie, called their bluff. They, meaning the investigators, were busted, and the undercover aspect was officially over. Womp, womp. On May 12th, which is like 6 days after this, or 7 days, there's a call between Charlie and Donna. Again, they were talking in code, but listen, they are so, I don't even know what the word is, chipper? It's very strange. The agent does testify that for a pair that just realized they were being investigated for murder, they were far too happy. By the way, when the agent says that they were too happy, the defense objected and the judge sustained the objection, basically telling the jury, like, you can't take that into consideration, his opinion that they were too happy. After the wire got made, meaning once the cops got busted, the Adelson checks to Katie McBanua stopped, and the conversations went back to normal. Like, what did you have for dinner? What did you do with the kids? Want to go to the pool? After this, on June 1st, 2016, the investigators served a subpoena on the Adelson Institute. And with that subpoena, they were able to confirm what they already knew, that Katie McBanua had never worked there. But while they were there, one of the employees called Charlie from the back room. During that recorded call, Charlie was like, "Oh, that's not my dad's office. I mean, that's not my office. That's my dad's office. So they have to speak to my dad." But he basically was like, "Don't tell them anything. Don't give them access to anything. Like, don't do anything." And with that, alternates, court adjourned early today. So I am thrilled. I do not think that my eyes could read any more wiretap transcripts. So we are officially halfway done with trial because they want to be done by next Friday. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. What do you think, alternates? You've listened to openings, you've listened to, 5 days of testimony. Do you think not guilty? Do you think guilty? Do you think guilty-ish? I mean, clearly as real jurors, we would never take a poll, but we are fake alternates. So tell me what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments or leave us a review, leave us 5 stars. Tell us how much you love us. Tell us what you think. Guilty, not guilty, guilty-ish. And with that, come back tomorrow for day 6. Until then, alternates, think like a juror, decide like one too.